Through an egregious error on my part, a lot of my footage over the last 2 days got washed. I lost it, I messed up, and most of it was dealing with changing that swing arm around. So we'll just have to kind of go over where we are and how we got here. Now, the last video that I had up, we were working with this swing arm, and I could not make that swing arm work at all, much to my disappointment. I really liked that braced VT600 swing arm. It's just neat. I dig it. But the VT600 arm is flared out to the right side, despite it being a left side drive bike, which is completely unlike any other bike ever. That's left side drive. Usually it flares out on the left to accommodate the chain. This one is the other way around. I did try flipping it over, and I really liked the look the thing had flipped over, but in doing that, the chain line was right through there. I could have possibly cut all of this out and the chain would have cleared. I would have had to adjust my bracing, but I'm not confident that that would have worked. So we went back to the factory arm, and now the issues that I had with the factory arm were, wiggled it. I had this braced up on this little socket here. The issues that I had with the factory arm were it was too long and it was too high. Getting the ride height that I wanted, is the same issue. The ride height that I wanted, the chain was just too close to the pivot. So what we did is, let's get some light in there. We cut a 20-degree wedge out of the swing arm up between the braced area and the pivot, and bent it up. Gave it a little dog leg that has to be welded back together fully. It's just tacked in the frame right now. And you can see we cut both sides. I will have this arm back out. We'll have solid pictures of it, later. So anyway, I do have the mounts for my shock set in place. We're using it's a 2006 R6 shock, which does work sideways like this. I do have the spring that's on it is a CBR 954 RR spring, which is still just a little bit too soft. I'm gonna have to a Ninja 650 spring will actually fit this shock. I'm gonna find one of those and get that thing going. That's how that'll work. I did weld some bracing. Very simple brace job. I will have to do a little work back here. My welder is not strong enough to penetrate this cast steel. I'm going to take it to a professional. I'm going to have him cut a plug that will go in there and then weld this all around. There will also be a gusset here, and I'm thinking maybe one up here. I don't think you can have too many gussets. One thing I am still figuring out is up here, the upper mount for the shock is, there's actually there's a lot more weld there than what it looks like. It is pretty solid. It's not going to go anywhere. I have also put a strap on the swing arm and pulled it all the way to full compression with this spring. Of course, this spring is probably about 3 kilograms per millimeter too light. But even still, with this, there was no issue. There was no deflection in the swing arm, no deflection in either of the mounts. So this shock mounted this way is going to work really well. Just needs to be a little bit stiffer. This is basically the final stance. Now, the swing arm is still just a little bit longer than what I would like it to be. I would like that swing arm to be probably about 3 or 4 inches shorter than what it is. Even at that point, I would either have to go to a traditional dual shock setup, or I don't know. I'm going to explore that this winter, though. I want to make a tubular braced swing arm, and I'm really looking forward to that project. So that's our stance, and we can see the shock in action here. I can tell you that I got quite a few comments about how, mounting shocks randomly and hoping for the best never works. I can say that I did not mount that randomly. I was not hoping for the best. I picked a spot that had the right amount of travel at an angle that I liked. I have a lot of the geometry here. Some things are done very randomly, but my geometry is on purpose. You see, this is also with the preload cranked all the way up, and just putting my weight on it adds about, it drops it about 1 inch, which is not too bad as far as sag goes. It would probably be tolerable, but I need it to be a little taller and a little stiffer. Plus, there's also going to be about 60 pounds more stuff involved between a full tank of gas, the bracing for my seat, and regular riding gear. Not to mention lights and other goodies. So that's where this thing's at for now. It might be a couple weeks before I have another update, but it's been fun so far. I am going to pull that swing arm out. I'll get some solid pictures of it, more measurements and specs, just so people can see how I did it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful evening.